RN Digital Talk Radio. Now in our 24th year and well over 19,000 guests, The Ron Sedgy Show live originates from our Universal Radio studios. Celebrities from TV, music, movies, literature, politics, and show business, at one time or another, they all come to The Ron Sedgy Show. So why don't you?
Welcome to Lifestyle Buzz Today with Orlando. Fresh, innovative, entertaining talk about topics we are all in one way or another involved with. And now, here's your host, Orlando Burgos.
Well, hello world. Yes, once again, we are here to entertain the heck out of you. And I am introducing, from now on, we are going to start the first segment, which is only 4 minutes, with a new idea that I had to make it kind of interesting, called The Week That Was. And in some cases it's going to be fun, in some cases it's going to be sad. In this case, I think silly fits the description very well. And we'll start with this. Fighter Conor McGregor, in New York to finalize a very lucrative contract with the UFC, is now facing jail for being silly. He threw a handcart through a window of a bus, injured some people, and now he's what turned out to be a very, very good business situation. Can end up putting him in the pokey because it's a criminal situation now. I don't get it. Anyway, golf. Golfer Sergio Garcia is now tied with Kevin Costner's character in the movie Tin Cup. Garcia, the master defending champion, dunked 5 shots in the water of the 15th hole during the Masters in Augusta, Georgia. In the end, it ended up with 13 strokes for a hole, which is like totally unheard of. But the silly part is the reaction from Mrs. Garcia. And I understand that she's the wife and it can be bothersome and everything else. But when you are in the public eye, things like this happen. You can't help it. I mean, people do make fun of things. I mean, whether people are right or wrong, there is cruelty out there. And I don't know. I'm a golfer, but I have to tell you that I've had more 13-stroke holes than I would like to admit. But for a professional, it is a funny thing. I mean, what can you do? It is what it is. In basketball in the Olympics, basically anyone who is a professional basketball player is now a team member for the Olympic team. I stopped really accepting this many, many years ago when it first got started with the Dream Team. And to me, the Olympics happens to be something that is pure, something that is amateur, something that is, I don't know, more competitive, not a killing situation as this can possibly be. I mean, LeBron James, Stephen Curry, Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and the list goes on and on and on. How would the rest of the world, who actually sent college kids and not that professional, really feel about playing these people? I mean, in some cases, maybe a sense of pride because it's a great roster. But on the other hand, my God, I mean, they're there to lose. I don't find that to be very sportsmanlike or anything else. I don't accept it. But anyway, it is what it is. They're going to steamroll over whoever it is, and that's it. Not silly at all. Football, a new league coming up. The Alliance Football League. We're going to have more information as the thing develops. But it actually starts February 2019, and apparently they got some great people already lined up to start playing. So we're going to be bringing you more information about that, and that was the week that was, silly or not. We'll be right back.
It has been said that everyone has a book in them. But do you have the time or the ability to write your book? Maybe you picked up some skills or had a life experience that you want to pass on in the form of a book to help others. Maybe you want to leave an autobiography for your family. Or maybe you've built a successful business and you want to share your story. At Dorrance Publishing Company, we have professional writers who can help turn your book idea into a finished manuscript quickly and affordably. A Dorrance ghostwriter can provide as much or as little help as you need to complete your book. You'll work directly with your ghostwriter to finish your book faster than you ever could on your own. It's easy to become a published author. Call Dorrance now to learn more. 800-485-8803. 800-485-8803. 800-485-8803. Call right now. That's 800-485-8803.
All right, we are back. Our guest today, Mr. Stephen Sears, writer, producer, all-around movie, TV genius. How are you, sir? Welcome.
I'm doing very well. I'll add one little correction, and believe it or not, this is important in the industry. Stephen L. Sears.
Stephen L. Sears.
Yeah, we were talking about branding earlier, and that actually, in this business, you are your name. It is your calling card, and there is another writer named Stephen Sears.
Oh, okay.
And so that's where confusion can come in. But also, I have a website, which is StephenLSears.com. However, I invite people, just for the fun of it, to try going to StephenSears.com. You'll notice there's quite a bit of difference from what I do for a living and what the website StephenSears.com. It's not a porn site, don't worry, it's safe for work. But anyway, so I just put in that minor correction. But thank you for having me here. This is awesome.
My pleasure, my pleasure. I am sure that you've done a whole lot of radio and interviews and stuff like that. So, and I mean, this happens to be the setup question. Tell us a little bit about you, how you got started, how... you have probably already have this recorded. And
well, yeah. I mean, do you have mini-series type of time for this?
Well, no, just a brief introduction, because what we try to do here is get inside you. So we're going to be.
Oh my gosh! And I just went to the doctor 3 weeks ago, and he did that as well.
Then you're okay.
And I am okay, by the way. Okay. Well, I'll give you the really brief part of it. Although there are things that people can kind of draw from it is either inspiration or frustration. I am a writer and author and producer, mostly in television. That's where most of my work has been done. I have worked on many, many different shows. I go back as far as the original A-Team series. That was my second series. Yeah, I was one of the staff writers on that. My first series was a series called Riptide, and that was for Stephen J. Cannell Productions as well as the A-Team. And I worked on a bunch of shows with Steve Cannell, and then moved off and worked on shows such as Raven, Jesse Hawks, J.J. Starbuck, which was also with Steve Cannell, Hardcastle McCormick, Stingray, Swamp Thing, Superboy. I was the co-exec producer and one of the head writers for Xena Warrior Princess, and I created or reinvented the franchise of Sheena for Sony Television.
Okay.
And then I branched out into, as I said, an author, writing books, and so on and so on. I got into the business. Originally, when I came out here, I was an actor.
Okay.
I was, came out from a small town in Florida, St. Augustine, Florida. Shout out to all my peeps in St. Augustine. And immediately got an entry-level position as a waiter at a restaurant, working at a restaurant called Wampoppers.
At least not Maria's, okay, because Maria's is overcrowded with...
Yes, quite a bit. So while I was working there, I was also trying to pursue the acting, and I was meeting casting directors. And one of the frustrations that casting directors would voice was the fact that they heard the same material over and over again from actors. They were all doing Neil Simon plays and stuff like that. So I decided to start writing my own little scenes for auditions. Now, at the restaurant, I met another guy named Bert Pearl, and he and I became best friends. And we both had an interest in just writing for the fun of it. So for the fun of it, this is the short version, he and I started writing scripts. We had no intention of making this into a career because we didn't even know you could make money at it. And one day I just made a phone call to the Stephen Cannell Productions because the Riptide series had just come on the air. And I was calling over to see if they had a writer's guide. Some shows have those. You know, it's kind of an outline of how the show is going to run. We were just curious. And I got into a conversation with this woman, and we had just a wonderful chat about non-business things. And then she said, well, if you have any scripts, send them over, and maybe the producers will look at them. So I said, great. Now, she didn't know who I was. I didn't know who she was. So I contacted this guy who was an agent. He sent over a couple of scripts. A month later, we got a phone call from the story editor of the show, Tom Blomquist. He had us come in and meet Babs Grayhowski, the exec producer. And off of those meetings, we got an assignment for an episode. And off of our first draft, they hired us on staff and put us in an office. Now, there's a much longer story to it, which is more hysterical because during this entire process, you have to understand, Bert and I had no idea what was going on. We thought that these people had so much time on their hand that they could waste it just chatting with us. It wasn't until Tom asked me who our agent was that we realized that we had actually been hired. We didn't even know it.
Is this something that, and I'm going to jump ahead a little bit, and then we'll come back.
Okay.
I have written a couple of scripts, okay? And I have tried to have people look at them. And I have tried, and it's always no. So are we talking about the way it was versus the way it is today, or our opportunities are still there somewhere?
A combination of things. First of all, obviously, this was back in the 80s.
Okay.
So much of the business has changed. Back then, there were only 3 networks. I mean, Fox hadn't even started up yet. You had ABC, NBC, CBS. Or as I put it, that was back when the Flintstones was a reality show. So it was a different time. But there are some things that still play today. Now, keep in mind, today, what we have is the internet. We also have the fact that everybody in their phone has an entire studio.
Right.
You know, you can shoot a film, you can edit it, you can write a film, you can do all of this stuff. Back there, it was very, very limited. You didn't have the internet. It was mostly the people who were in Los Angeles. Those are the only people who could get noticed. It was harder to get work because there were so few shows. There were only 3 networks. There was no cable.
Right.
Now you've got all these different cable networks and all these outlets, and you have, the YouTube possibilities and all that stuff. The problem is that now with the internet, there are so many people out there.
It's flooding the
It's just white noise at this point.
Yeah.
And I always kind of liken it to, people like myself and people who work in the business. We're in the castle, and we're up on the walls, and we're not trying to keep people out. This industry thrives on new blood. But we look out in front of the castle, and there are millions and millions of people storming the gate.
Right.
And we yell out and we say, look, we only want the best of you. Which one of you is the most talented? And
everybody's hands go up.
With their hands up.
Yeah.
So what I say is, you have to make me notice you somehow.
Mm-hmm.
And if I feel like you're using me, in other words, if I meet you at a party and the first thing you do is slap a script in my hand and say, read this, I'm the most amazing writer, I just toss it.
Yeah.
But going back, I'm reflecting back on that phone call I made. As I said, that phone call was mostly not about the business. We just chatted.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized, and I didn't intend it at the time, but now that I do this, I realized what had happened is I made myself somebody individual because we just chatted. It was a friendly conversation. I didn't feel like, she didn't feel like I was using her, and I didn't feel like I was trying to use someone. So it's kind of like that today.
It's a situation that in every business is like that. I mean, and going back to the abundance of material that you were mentioning I also operate a travel agency, and as such, I specialize in certain destinations. When the computer came up in vogue, well, before that, it was actually the little cameras, the video cameras. Mm-hmm. I would get all these phone calls from people saying, listen, can you get me a free trip because I'm a filmmaker and I want to go to Peru, Argentina, always Brazil for Carnival. I mean, of course, because I want to do a documentary. And we go like, okay, here we go again. And then the computers came involved. Mm-hmm. And we would get the same call from people. Listen, I'm a writer and I want to do a travel show. And can you give me a free trip? And it's like, so, I mean, the enthusiasm is there. We just need to keep certain pace with it.
Yeah.
It's keeping pace. I guess Jose is giving me a signal here. We'll be back in a couple of seconds. Then stay tuned. Don't go away now.
You're experiencing pain, back pain, shoulder, elbow, or hand pain, pain from a sports injury. If so, schedule a visit with Dr. Michael Sheps, the leading expert in laser therapy for pain management. Call 310-873-4422 or go to drsheps.com. Experience Epic T, the breakthrough laser therapy system that Dr. Sheps developed to make you pain-free in less time. Laser therapy is a non-invasive, safe, and effective in-office procedure that penetrates deep into your skin without damaging the tissue. It perfectly targets areas of pain to promote fast, natural healing. Relax your muscles, ease muscle spasms, joint stiffness, and arthritis pain while increasing blood circulation. For over 25 years, Dr. Sheps has helped Olympic athletes and sports enthusiasts alike get back in the game. Schedule your visit with Dr. Sheps at his Brentwood office in California. Call 310-873-4422 or visit drsheps.com. That's DRSHEPS.com, 310-873-4422.
Do you want to fly somewhere, anywhere in the world? Smart travelers call myflightsearch.com for the best deals on flight tickets. Going to Manila, Bangkok, London, how about Singapore? Call myflightsearch.com for the lowest flight tickets available. What about a local vacation? Let's say you want to fly to Vegas, Orlando, Miami, Los Angeles, or Denver. Pick up the phone and call myflightsearch.com right now. We have exclusive deals that you can't find anywhere else. The only way you can get these low airline prices is by calling us. We have so many low prices available, we can't possibly tell them to you right here and now. If you're flying somewhere anytime in the next 6 months and you want the lowest airline ticket prices anywhere, you owe it to yourself to save a ton of money. So pick up your cell phone and call myflightsearch.com right now.
Call 800-445-3166. 800-445-3166. That's 800-445-3166. Call now. 800-445-3166.
Come to Angelo's and Vinci's Restaurante to see memorabilia of movie stars and theatrical magic right in downtown Fullerton, California. The Art of the Great Masters in an Italian town square complete with storefronts of old, Italian butchers and cheesemongers, fruit and wine vendors, seamstresses showing their wares, the romance of Romeo and Juliet. Find our mystical Room of the Moon, and don't forget King Kong, Dracula, Frankenstein, and who knows what awaits you in the wine cellar. Enjoy the great food. We hand stuff our pastas, roll each and every tortellini, bake our own bread, and make all of our sauces fresh from our private stock of Sicilian family recipes. Pasta to seafood, chicken to award-winning pizzas, tiramisu flown in from Rome. If you can't find something on our menu to tempt you, you don't like Italian food. Try our Sunday brunch, all you can eat, just $21.95. And Angelo's and Vinci's has been named the best Italian restaurant in Orange County 2 years in a row, and our owner has been named Restaurateur of the Year. Angelo's and Vinci's, Fullerton, California, 714-879-4022 or angelosandvinci's.com.
All right, we are back, and my guest, Stephen L. Sears. I got it right this time. Clarify something for us in the audience, because I've been asked many times, and we see the words, and I have a notion that I got it, but you're the professional.
I know where this is going.
We hear producer, executive producer. What exactly is a producer? Because sometimes you see a lot of that identification. And you know what? I grew up with the thing where, like, okay, producer, director, and then there's a whole lot of in between that. So.
Yes, and as soon as you started that, you're saying, okay, clarify. I'm like, this is going to be the producer question. It really varies. It depends on, in television, it really depends on the series that you're on, because every organization is slightly different. There is a lot of discussion within the industry about the validity of some of these credits.
Okay.
Because theoretically, idealistically, in television, you basically have a hierarchy, and it goes from being a staff writer, story editor, co-producer, producer, supervising producer, co-exec producer, and executive producer. Each one of those levels is delegated a certain amount of responsibility.
Okay.
And obviously, the way I just laid them out, each one is higher than the one before. When you get up to story editor and co-producer, what you are talking about is the person that basically works directly with the staff writers or the freelance writers. When you get to the level of producer, there are two types of producer. There's the creative producer, which deals mostly with the creative aspects of storytelling. And there is the line producer who basically works directly on the set, working with organizing the entire crew, which to me is a Herculean job for somebody to be able to do that. Then you get into supervising producer, co-exec, and executive producer. Now, what their particular responsibilities are depends on what the showrunner, the exec producer usually, wants them to do. But there is a thing called a vanity credit. And a vanity credit is a producing credit that's given because it's a negotiating tool. For example, and this isn't true all the time, because the difference between story editor and co-producer can be significant. But many times co-producer is a story editor, except the co-producer gets his name or her name in the opening credits as opposed to the end credits.
This is almost like the theater marquee with the big name.
Like that. And then other times I could be negotiating, say that I have a well-known actor that I want to have on my show, but I can't afford to pay that actor what he or she wants. So what I might say is, look, I can't pay you the money, but I'll tell you what, I'll make you a producer. So you get a producing credit. Now that actor or an actress may never do any actual producing work, but they value that credit. Now that's called a vanity credit, and that's the one that is very much discussed these days, as opposed to, are we diluting the actual importance of the job? Now for me, I've always believed that when you move up through the hierarchy, you should start doing the job that you want to get. So when I was a staff writer, I was doing story editing work, and I wanted that. And when I was a story editor, I was doing co-producing work, and then every step along the way. So that's how I moved up.
Okay, very cool. So actually, a producer is the person that works with with the director up to a point in getting the actors and that's part that we all want to know.
Oh, well, once again, I'm speaking specifically of television because I'm not into the features area. And in there, executive producers, for example, are usually the financial people. They bring in the big money. But yes, the executive producer, and again, down the line, coordinates everybody. Will be in charge of hiring, or who gets hired as far as directing, as far as acting, basically everything.
All right.
But the exec producer also filters the garbage that comes in from above. And I say garbage in the nice way, because you're dealing with a studio, you're dealing with network. They have a lot of input, and the exec producer is the point person who negotiates with them what actually gets done.
So you're actually like the collector of everything and then the disseminator.
That is true. Yes, everything's got to go through. And so that's why you delegate. If you're exec producer, you delegate down to the people supervising, producer, et cetera.
In layman's terms, like a warehouse, and from there stuff comes in?
Pretty much. I look at it as being like an organizational manager and a problem solver. That is the biggest thing you've got to be able to do. It's problem solving.
All right. Sounds good. This happens to be not a political show at all, okay? It may sound like a political question, but it's not.
Okay.
Well, be good. I'll tell you what. Let me save it for when we come back, because I guess we're going on a commercial.
I'll put on my big boy pants.
But what I want to talk about is changes in the industry, and I'll surprise you with a question.
Okay, great.
We'll be right back.
Hi, friends. This is Larry Manetti. Go to LarryManetti.com to get my book, Aloha Magnum. You'll read all about the wonderful guest stars like Carol Burnett, Elvis Presley, Frank Sinatra, and many, many more. There is an episode guide and my favorite recipes that I really cook at home. I will include a free signed photo with every book. Get Aloha Magnum at LarryManetti.com. Order now. Aloha.
The legends of Kaanapali Luau at the Kaanapali Beach Hotel will take your breath away with an abundant feast, spellbinding dances, and music from Lei Pono Productions. Be greeted with a lei and browse to see island crafts made by local artisans. As you hear the pu or conch shell blow, your luau experience will begin. The featured entree is a whole roasted pig and a bountiful menu of some of Hawaii's favorite food choices. Oh, you can't forget our famous made in-house taro poi. As your night comes to an end under the spell of the moon, be amazed by the famous fire walk. By the end of the night, you'll be full, and we hope you'll have made new friends and some forever memories while you continue to listen to music from Maui's local Hawaiian musicians every Monday night at Hawaii's most Hawaiian hotel. Kaanapali Beach Hotel voted Best Aloha Spirit by Hawaii Magazine readers. Call 667-0128 or visit legendsofkaanapali.com for your exciting island adventure.
When you really want Italian food, you have got to go to Columbo's. Columbo's Italian Steakhouse and Jazz Club, Colorado Boulevard, Eagle Rock. It's that little neighborhood place you wish was down the street from you. Ah, yes, the warm weather has triumphantly returned, and the yucca filamatusa are in bloom just in time for Mother's Day. And what better place to enjoy the day than celebrating at Columbo's? Why Columbo's? Because Columbo's is family, and family is getting together, enjoying each other's company without distraction. Columbo's helps put ease back into our lives with mouth-watering steaks prepared the way you want, the freshest fish, Italian specialties that redefine the meaning of comfort food, the world's greatest meatballs, jazz every night, and it's all so affordable. Put some ease back into Mother's Day at Columbo's, because it really is that little neighborhood place you wish was down the street from you. Happy Mother's Day. Manja.
It has been said that everyone has a book in them. But do you have the time or the ability to write your book? Maybe you picked up some skills or had a life experience that you want to pass on in the form of a book to help others. Maybe you want to leave an autobiography for your family. Or maybe you've built a successful business and you want to share your story. At Dorrance Publishing Company, we have professional writers who can help turn your book idea into a finished manuscript quickly and affordably. A Dorrance ghostwriter can provide as much or as little help as you need to complete your book. You'll work directly with your ghostwriter to finish your book faster than you ever could on your own. It's easy to become a published author. Call Dorrance now to learn more. 800-485-8803. 800-485-8803. 800-485-8803. Call right now. That's 800-485-8803.
This is Larry Elder inviting you to join me twice daily here on CRN Digital Talk Radio. Tune in to CRN3 Reagan Radio Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. Pacific Time, 6 p.m. Eastern for my live 3-hour show. And don't miss the replay of the show on CRN1 starting at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern. The Larry Elder Show, twice as good, 2 times daily, Monday through Friday on CRN. Find out more at crntalk.com.
All right, we are back again. Before we took a break, I mentioned the fact that we are not a political show. As a matter of fact, I never book any political guests or anything else because I just don't think it's right. Roseanne show.
Mm-hmm.
It seems that they took a shot at breaking some Hollywood rules, and it looks like it's paying off. They, in my opinion, as a layman, it looks like they bucked the system.
Okay.
To me, I'm a big fan of the entertainment industry, and I see this almost in relation far but yet similar to the Dalton Trumbo, Otto Preminger years of way back, where there was an impediment towards the writers and the producers, and they said no. These people seem to have said, no, we're going to do this, whether it's popular or not. And it seems to be paying off, which means to me that the audiences are hungry for difference. A lot of times you hear liberal Hollywood. See, I don't believe in that. For me, I make no secrets. I'm a Republican, but I couldn't be any more liberal if I tried. So liberalism is not an excuse for many things that people talk about in the Hollywood scene, because it's hurting the industry, it's hurting the overall, and I don't believe in that. I mean, to me, being liberal is being humane, being a human being, liking people for being people, not because they're black or gay or tall or short. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
That's being human.
Being human is being liberal. I mean, we accept everything.
Well, yes, we're not going to make this a political show, obviously.
Right.
But a couple of things. First of all, the idea that Republican or conservative or Democrat or liberal would be nasty or dirty words is ridiculous. It really depends on the individual.
Right.
I just had a conversation yesterday with a friend of mine. We talked about, because she's a Republican and I'm a Democrat, and we talked about the fact that there was a time when the two parties worked together.
Yes.
And they disagree, but you never doubted that they had the country as their priority. So we've drifted somewhat in that, and you can pick whichever side you think is drifted. I'm not going to get into that. I would say for the Hollywood aspect, one of the mistakes that a lot of people make, and it's understandable, excuse me, is they assume that Hollywood is liberal and its priority is liberal. Hollywood is, I will just say, basically, in my opinion, that Hollywood is green. That's what it is. So nobody, and when you said that they kind of broke the rules with Roseanne, no, they didn't. They didn't break. They actually followed the rules with Roseanne.
Okay.
Because that show, they knew the first episode, because of the controversy that had been planted about her, and because it was a return show, which means it's already branded, they knew that was going to go through the roof.
Okay.
Even if people decided they weren't going to come back, the sampling was going to be huge. So this was Hollywood saying there's money in them thar hills. We don't care if Republicans spend that money. We don't care if Democrats spend that money. It's money. That's what Hollywood has always been about.
You know, that description that you just gave is so perfect. It's perfect for the simple reason that we as fans, we as moviegoers, TV watchers, whatever, we understand that there's a richness behind, that the actors are going to be wealthy, that whoever makes it big is going to be wealthy, that there's an extravagance that goes along with it. The culmination is the awards that people go like, oh yeah, man, my favorite show. I didn't watch the Oscars because I knew what it was going to be like. I saw the sampling last year, and it confuses me because, well, one way or another, we are in the entertainment industry. I mean, I'm in radio. I do little bits and pieces and background films and stuff like that, or shows, TV shows. So I'm familiar with the camera scene and the whole thing, and I love it, you know. But, I mean, there's also a known factor, which is what I just mentioned, that, yes, there's private jets, there's big yachts, there's...
Well, I don't have a private jet.
Why? Yeah, but, you know, like...
The yacht I have sank in my bathtub last week.
In a rubber ducky.
That's right.
And, you know, but the same thing is like, you know, I think that we, as consumers, understand and actually enjoy the idea of knowing that we're backing an actor that is big in giving and has big toys, and we try to emulate that, try to come up to those standards somehow.
That's an interesting observation.
I mean, that's the reason of hero worshiping up to a point, you know, and it is living the big dream vicariously. But
yeah, and you know, and actors and actresses, the performances they do have to touch the audience, and the audience has to feel a little bit of, I either want to be like them or I recognize part of them in me. So it's kind of natural to actually do what you're talking about right there. The idea that it's a very strange psychology when the audience is watching For example, like Housewives of Orange County or something like that. They're looking at the excess. And I think in the psychology, there's a part of them that says, I wish I had that type of money and that type of freedom and everything, but I would make different choices because those people are so screwed up.
Right.
So there's a gladiatorial aspect to it of them, like the Roman arena, where they're sitting there watching the people ravage each other, and they're like, yeah, look at those horrible people. They're doing that. Then there's the other part. They're saying, yeah, but boy, the excess that they have, I could deal with that. That wouldn't be a problem at all for me.
Yeah. I mean, I consider that to be like self-hypocritical when people say, man, I wish I had a jet like that, but I hate for him having it. And I'm like,
yeah,
try to, I mean, I have to tell you, I'm a migrant. I was born in Costa Rica. I was brought here in 1958. And for the very first time that I set foot here, my dad always said, this is the land of opportunity.
Good.
And you got the world is your oyster here. And you know what? I mean, it is.
Yeah.
I've learned to appreciate it and enjoy it and love it, man. So
good for you.
We'll be right back.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS? Newsflash, the president has changed the tax laws, and now you may be able to pay the IRS less. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, the tax doctor can help you pay the IRS as little as possible allowed by law. There are new tax laws for business owners, the self-employed, even W-2 workers. If you have a back tax problem or a few years of unfilled returns, new help to save you money is now here. Call right now to see how the new tax laws can help you. Plus, right now, we'll waive the consultation fee and give you a free tax savings report. Attention business owners, the self-employed, and W-2 workers. Make this free call to the tax doctor now and learn how to take advantage of the new tax laws that may help you pay the IRS less. 800-985-1610. 800-985-1610. 800-985-1610. That's 800-985-1610.
What are you going to do with your old car? You can try selling it, you could junk it, or you could donate it to Heritage for the Blind. Your car will be towed away for free, and your donation is tax deductible. Just call 1-800-785-9618. Heritage for the Blind accepts cars, vans, trucks, and boats. It doesn't matter if your vehicle runs or not. It will be towed away for free, and you'll be supporting those that need help. Heritage for the Blind is a nonprofit organization that helps the visually impaired live fuller lives. Call right now to donate your car, and as a special thank you for calling, you'll receive a free 3-day vacation voucher to many exciting locations. Call Heritage for the Blind right now, 1-800-785-9618. Donating is easy, and your vehicle is towed away for free. Plus, you'll get a free vacation voucher. Call now, 1-800-785-9618. That's 1-800-785-9618.
All right, we are back, and then more fun and games. On a chicken or the egg question. Okay?
Okay.
Does the character / cast idea develops the show itself, or does the idea of the show develop the character / cast?
Yes. Okay, we're moving on. Now,
thank you. This was really interesting.
Two different types of shows. There are shows which are celebrity-centric.
Okay.
And I'm trying to think of one off the top of my head, but it's one. Well, Roseanne, right there. Roseanne is celebrity-centric because it's Roseanne. It's called Roseanne. Her name is Roseanne. It's around her comedy routines.
Right.
Other shows are character-centric. L.A. Law, which that's an older show, but any show right now, like Supernatural or something like that, those are character
shows. Law and Order type of thing.
Yeah. It wasn't sold. It wasn't like, it's like with Roseanne. Roseanne walked into the office and said a show about me. Okay, boom, we're doing it. So two different types of shows. Now, I have worked on almost all my shows, I think, as I'm thinking back, have all been shows that have been based on characters, and then you hire the correct actor, even if the actor himself sold the show. We were talking earlier about Robert Conrad, who also has a show here on this radio station, and I did 2 episodes of Jesse Hawks. Well, Jesse Hawks was a spinoff from High Mountain Rangers, and that was a show that Bob wanted to do. But it wasn't the Robert Conrad show. It wasn't that.
Right.
So most of the shows I've done, I create a character, and then I try to find the person who can best portray what I envision the character to be. But then once you start production, it's a living thing. So everybody starts to contribute to it, and if you have a good show, the writers are really trying to challenge the actor and actress to give us their best, and they put it right back in our face and say, here it is, and something, and we're like, okay, we're going to go back and forth, and you realize everybody is trying to strive to make it better.
Okay. You write books.
I have started writing books. Go figure that one.
We have... Which one do you want to talk about first?
Well, let's talk about let's talk about Stalag X. Let's get that out of the way real quick.
Okay.
Stalag X is the newest book that has come out. This is something. It's a graphic novel published by The Vault. I co-created this and wrote it with Kevin J. Anderson. And Kevin J. Anderson is one of the top sci-fi writers right now. He and Brian Herbert write all the Dune sequels. He's done adaptations for X-Files and in the Star Wars universe. The interior art is done by Mike Ratera. And this was a project that Kevin and I have been working on for almost 20 years.
Really?
And it finally came to fruition. This is a hardback version. It'll be available May 8th in bookstores. It's already on Amazon as a pre-order.
Okay.
And it is basically a futuristic science fiction based. It's about a concentration camp in the future.
Oh.
And a lot of it is based on the fact that I'm a little bit of a military historian. So this is based on lessons we should have learned in the past from wars and concentration camps that we refuse to take part. So it's pretty graphic. But that one just
all right. And then I'm going to ask you a question about this.
Okay.
And then you have the second book, or the first book, whichever.
That was the first one. That came out a little while ago. That is called the, and I preface this by saying that the title was not my idea. It was a working title that I did as a joke, and then the publisher said, we like it. It's called The Non-User-Friendly Guide for Aspiring TV Writers, Advice and its Experience from the Trenches, Not What You Want to Know, but What You Need to Know. Yes, that's the entire title. And that book actually came up because on the internet, I'm fairly accessible, and I used to participate in a lot of forums online for screenwriting. And a lot of people would ask me questions, and I realized that they were just apparently not getting answers that were working for them, or they weren't getting answers at all. And I happen to be somewhat of an authority after doing this for like 30 years. So I started answering their questions, and I was putting it in a file, and Kevin J. Anderson, again, my friend, he and I were working on this other project, and he saw this file, and he said, you need to publish this. This is actually a book.
Okay.
So I put it together, and I published it. And it's not a book about teaching you how to write. It is about the business, the care and feeding of agents, what a meeting is like, a pitch meeting, how to take notes, those kind of things. But it's also filled with a lot of anecdotes of my particular life and career, keeping in mind that some of it is out of place because I go back 30 years in this particular career.
Okay.
But that tries to keep it amusing, hopefully.
Would you be willing to donate one of each, and I'll announce it to... Can you?
Yes, of course.
All
Sure,
right.
that'd be
So
cool.
for all of you out there, I'm not just going to give the books away, but I need to figure out a question and answer type of thing that challenges you, and I will send you one of these books autographed by the author. But I'll tell you what. Let me think of something challenging, and I'll give it to you next week, because you know what? This is all about being creators. And if I just tell you, tell me about the color of Steve's hat, well, yeah, no big deal. But no, we are going to challenge your creative juices out there. And I think you will be very, very glad that you did if you win one of these books. So you have to come back next week, because next week, and maybe I'll have you on the telephone too.
Cool.
Next week. So, Yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm going to be reading these books for sure. That's for sure. So stay tuned until next week, and we'll come back. Oh, this is our last segment now, coming up. Is it? Yeah. All right. Well, we'll come back. We'll speak with Steve for just a little bit longer, and then off we go. Come.
Hey Lorraine, do you realize that your mother, my mother-in-law, Chef Maria, has been serving Las Vegas since 1949?
Yes, I do, Dennis. That's when she first met Howard Hughes, who fell in love with her cooking.
And in 1955, she opened her first restaurant on Fremont Street.
Yes, dear. And another great customer was Liberace.
Wow. Then in 1962, while Frank Sinatra and the Rat Pack were causing global excitement on the Las Vegas Strip, your family opened their second restaurant.
And in 1972, Elvis Presley began electrifying Las Vegas audiences and eating in our restaurants.
You know, Lorraine, this is quite a town. There's only one Las Vegas.
And there's only one Bootlegger Italian Bistro.
Folks, when you're in Las Vegas, come visit us. We'll make you feel like you're part of our family.
The Bootlegger Italian Bistro, conveniently located at 7700 Las Vegas Boulevard, South Strip. Visit our website at www.bootleggerlasvegas.com.
Experience the romantic getaway you deserve at Maui's premier bed and breakfast, the Plantation Inn. With plantation-style architecture and decor combined with modern amenities such as dual rain showers and whirlpool hot tubs, guests relax in a tranquil oasis in the heart of Maui's historic Lahaina town. The inn is situated conveniently less than 2 blocks from Lahaina Harbor, as well as the famous Front Street, known for its range of shops, restaurants, gallery walks, and museums. The Plantation Inn is home to Gerard's Restaurant, voted Open Table's top most romantic restaurants in North America. Chef Gerard's contemporary island French cuisine consistently earns some of the highest ratings in Hawaii. Come discover why Hawaii Magazine readers named the Plantation Inn #1 best bed and breakfast in Hawaii. Visit theplantationinn.com or call us at 667-9225.
The smartest way for you to get the lowest prices on your plane tickets, domestic or international, is to call SmartFares first or last, but you've got to call us before you book your plane tickets. Fly anywhere in the world, fly anywhere in the U.S., and SmartFares can save you up to 75% on your plane tickets. We have the lowest airline ticket prices on over 500 airlines, and you've got a great 12-hour free cancellation window. Plus, with our live agent help, you can always get fast help and fast answers. So on your next trip, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, how about right now? Pick up your phone and call SmartFares, plus save up to 75% on your plane reservation. So call right now. 800-915-2644, 800-915-2644, 800-915-2644, 800-915-2644.
All right, fun time is over. My God, what have we done? Give us your contact information, please.
Yes, you can find me online. Well, let's see. My website is fairly easy to remember because my name is Stephen L. Sears, and the website is stephenlsears.com. One word, no period. Stephen L. Sears. That's Stephen with a V. You can also find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram, and you can find me on Twitter. On Facebook, just look for Stephen L. Sears, and you'll either see a picture of me or my dog. And on on Twitter and Instagram, it is FSU Writer. FSU Writer. That's because I got my degree at Florida State University in Tallahassee. Go Noles. So FSU Writer at Instagram and Twitter. That's pretty much where you can get me.
All right. At the very beginning, I made a comment about your hat.
Yes, indeed.
And, I said, the Indiana Jones hat.
Yep.
And you had a very cute story about it, which is something that I think people really should always recognize that it's important, and that is your self-branding.
That's right.
So,
and I'll make this fairly quick because I know we're limited on time. especially in this industry, but also in life generally, especially in this industry, you need to brand yourself. You are your calling card, and you are your own commodity. And if you are just a number, you remain just a number.
Right.
There was the Maya Angelou line that people, may forget what you say, but they will always remember how you made them feel. Well, branding is a part of that. It basically lends into the aura or feeling they have about you. Now, my hat, turned out to be my branding. Mm-hmm. And basically the reason that happened was I used to wear baseball caps because I'm balding, and I'm very, very white. If I was any whiter, I'd be Eminem. So, I melanoma and, skin cancer, so I would always wear a hat. So I picked up a fedora one time in a store, and a person looked at me, walked by, and went, "Nice hat." I went, "Okay, good, I'll buy it." So I bought it. Another person said, "Nice hat." There's not a day that goes by without somebody saying, "Nice hat."
Yeah.
And I realized that I have the right face for this hat. Now, what has happened, though, is that it has now become so much an identifiable part of me that there have been actual articles written in magazines about my hat and how it brands me. And I've gone into studio meetings where I left my hat in my car, and the meeting became about my hat. During lunch, I had to go and get my hat, just so we'd stop talking about my hat so I could act. So it's become such an identifiable part of me. And I mentioned earlier when we talked about the book here, when the publisher wanted to have a photo, he said, "Can we have a photo for the back of you?" And I went, "Okay, fine." So it's the photo of my hat. You can see it there. So, but that's something everybody should do. And usually your branding will find yourself.
Very cool. I mean, I bet you're happy you weren't wearing a beanie with a propeller on it. I mean, that would have been something else.
Well, my career could have soared. You never know.
That's it. Anyway, we are coming to the close of the show. We are still promoting our golf trip to Cuba, and I recommend that you give us a call about that to silverfoxexpeditions@gmail.com or phone 844-205-8144. And for those of you cheapos out there, I pay for the phone call, okay? So that's it, man. Call me. For information about the show and to stay tuned, asking questions about how you're going to win one of these big, beautiful, valuable books, lifestylebuzztoday@gmail.com. lifestylebuzztoday@gmail.com. And what I'm going to do, go to the blog site on my website. I'm learning how to really actually work that sucker. So I'm going to be putting the questions that I want answered on that this week. So go to lifestylebuzz.today and you'll find the questions hopefully by Monday, Tuesday. And that's it. And I recommend that you do, because these books are fabulous. And there's only one copy being away. The rest I'm going to be selling. No. All right. We've been brought to you by Lazy Dog Productions, LLC. Stay cool. Have a great weekend. So long.
Enjoying all your favorite CRN programming is easier than ever. It's right on your TV, through your local cable provider, and on the web at crntalk.com. But when you're on the move, stuck in a plane, train, or in your car, catch up on all the shows you missed, or listen live to your favorites. Download our CRN app from your iPhone, iPad, Android, or BlackBerry. Just search for CRN Digital Talk Radio, or search for your favorite CRN shows on apps like iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, AHA Radio, uTunes, and Nobex. Now you have access to all of our great shows anywhere in the world, and the ability to be part of them by calling our toll-free studio line at 800-336-2225. For more information on where and how to listen, log on to CRN.